Well, howdy everybody, Jughead here, and wow, it's been a crazy summer. We had really high rivers late into the year, and then things just got busy with work and life and everything else, so we haven't been doing a lot of flying out on the bars, but finally Larry and I were able to get our schedules matched up. The water was going down, and we got our 170s out to go play. There was a neat feature, something I've been watching the last couple years. I've got to experience it just a little bit, but we got to really hit it perfect in this video, so I hope you find it both entertaining and a little bit educational. Let's go flying.
Well, I'd agreed to meet Larry at a bar we call Splashdown, but I hadn't been to it in several weeks. So, as anytime you go to a new bar or a bar that you haven't been to in a while or a bar that's been underwater, you need to overfly it, check it for any obstacles. Make a quick left downwind, always positioning the airplane where I can maximize my emergency landing potential. So there's a couple hay fields that I can do right here. And I come back in. Well, as we say, proficiency and practice is real important in off-airport flying. And here in a nice controlled environment of splashdown bar, I'm able to play with the water. And in this case, I ran the right main through the water, the left main stayed on the rocks, so I could feel the difference in the drag and the takeoff roll. The great thing about this is the location, if I didn't like what I could feel, airplane got pulled to the right, I could just pull the power and still have nice shallow water to safely stop and reset. But that's where it's just so important, is always expanding one's experiences, knowledge, skills in a nice, safe environment. So this is what we call Splashdown. It's one of our favorite bars. It's a big bar. It's one of the first that really opens up each year. We love it because down on this end, we a lot of times can land out in the water at the shallow rocks. It's a good one to bring guys and gals who are just getting into off-airport sandbar type landings because it is long. Usually gets around 800 to 1,000 feet of usable distance. It's also a good one because we use it. It has just enough curvature, but it's wide enough. It's a good one to introduce people to curved takeoffs and landings. You've got a defined line with the grass. It's okay if you get up in the grass. You got a defined line with the water. It's okay if you get a little bit to the water. It goes very shallow. I wouldn't want to get very far in the water, but you're not going to tip over just because you hit the water. So it's a really good place for somebody who's just getting started to come out here and get their tires on the rocks for the first time. And that's important for everybody out here that's looking to get involved with more STOL and backcountry flying, is get with somebody who's got experience. It doesn't have to be a CFI, but someone's got experience that can teach you and show you the ropes. Read what you can, but reading doesn't replace hands-on instruction. And there's days that you just don't do things, but today it's a beautiful day, so Larry and I are going to go skip on down the way. We've got about 9 more sandbars in the next 2.5 miles that way. We're really gifted here. So this is where it's important to look at your bars and your landing areas every time, especially if it's river bars where they change. This is where we normally will land and roll through the water, but you're seeing we got a dam built up there. We got several low channels out through here. This one's 8 inches deep. That one out there is over 1 foot deep with a good amount of water. It's shallow leading up to it, and then you got a hole, and then you're up into this. So it definitely changes each time, and you have to inspect it each time. Otherwise you find yourself surprised. Somebody's happy. So how much water does a black lab dog carry out of the river with him? There's the trail, there's the shake, and there's the trail. You gotta love him. For this takeoff, I'm going to keep the airplane on the ground long after it could have easily be airborne. You see, I feed in that full aileron, get it picked up on the left main, and just roll along on this left main, practicing the cross control skills it takes to do that for when I get to a place where it's a little more challenging of a curved takeoff. This is a bar that I've never landed. I have overflown it, I have looked at it, I've studied it, and I know it's doable, but it has never been the right day, the right time for me to go do it. Every time the rivers go up and down, there's sections of bars that will be linked by shallow areas of water, and this is one of them. I've been waiting just to go. It's a great, safe place to go play through it. I've already taxied through it, so let's do a takeoff roll through it and analyze what the drag feels like in that 2 to 4 inch water. Let me tell you, the acceleration completely quit. I actually lost airspeed or ground speed as I rolled through this water. And the second I got out the backside, the airplane accelerated quickly. Now, for those of you who are going to scream, oh, you're putting water through your prop, it's no worse than a heavy rainstorm out here in the Pacific Northwest. And to be honest, when you look at the wingtip video, the water's coming up behind the prop, and it's definitely coming across the windshield. But man, you want to talk about drag. I don't know that I hardly gained any valuable airspeed while going through that section. But it sure was fun. And it was a good learning experience too. So my game plan coming back in was just to make a very shallow, very smooth touchdown about halfway through the water. Never even felt my right main when it touched the water. Once the left main touched, I could tell I was on. I could hear it. I could feel the vibrations. And like always, Dakota's giving me a little bit of feedback. I think he's liking what we're doing though. So this video, as I taxied through it before my takeoff and landing, gives you a good example of just how shallow or how deep that water is depending on your point of view. I'm running 26-inch Goodyears for reference. Here's something you got to be careful of too, is when you're turning around off airport, is making sure here's where my main's turned around. You got to be aware where your tail is in relation to obstacles. And so I turned. Initially I was thinking of going down through here, but between the stump and the grass I didn't like the obstacle clearance, so I turned here. And you can see, even kind of in full caster mode, wouldn't want to get any closer to that. It's a clump of grass up high, but there is a stump behind it. So that's something that's important to watch out for. A lot of guys have bent some tail feathers inadvertently. So here's a great bar that we've come into for years, but this year we got a lot more wood. We probably have 3 to 4 times more wood, which means this is not a place you want to be short at all. The other thing is it's got this swale. I don't know if you can see it. You can take off over this swale, but you can't land on this swale. I came in spotting it yesterday and actually just trying to drag it, and I was about 6 inches lower than I wanted to, and I kind of bounced the mains off this little swale here. There's about a foot to a foot and a half difference between the bottom and the top of this little swale. Can't tell for sure, but that might have been where I hit it with my left main gear yesterday. We'll check out that rock. Hydraulics. Wow. That is sweet. Hydraulics versus, nope, how about a tire hit it? Someone ran it over it with their Jeep. Playing in the sand. Yeah. We're not going to take that. Nope, we're going to leave it here. Drop it. Leave it. Load up. As I take off from garbage dump here, you can kind of watch the airplane as it goes up and down through this swale that I was talking about. Half mile to the east, I'm coming into Big Fish, and it definitely has swales. There's one that'll bounce me up in the air right there. Get back down. Here comes the next one. Bounce me just a bit again. But it's big and long, and the swales are smooth enough. You know you can safely go over them. They're there every year. Always a mystery what you're going to find on the bar. We call this one dead fish. And now it looks like it could also be half a coyote. It's half a coyote. A very small coyote. Dakota, load up. Good dog.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Larry and I had a fun time playing in the water. Be sure to watch for our next video come out, because Larry and I are getting ready to brief up some formation takeoffs and formation approach and landing, something you just don't see in the bush world very often.